Welcome back to the Kickback
with Day and Gabe,
Episode
episode 4. And today we're going to be talking about
learning how to be married. So personally on my end, my parents divorced and neither of my paternal nor maternal grandparents ever got married.
And yeah, my maternal grandparents divorced after 20 years, and then my paternal grandparents were never married either. And every example I ever had of marriage was pretty much a toxic example. And so it involved, abuse, adultery.
And I've never saw, in my youth, mentors or even books, learning how to be a husband. So my whole idea of what it meant to be married, especially what it meant to be a married man, was elementary, to say the least.
And I never even, thought about marriage like that. It wasn't anything that I was pursuing, and it actually caught me off guard when Gabe had asked me to marry him. And I think it just dealt with, the examples I had saw of marriage. But like, as Gabe was saying, like, there was no guidebook. We had seen people be married. I've been told, wait till marriage to have children, but it, it was kind of left there. And so we're only 3 years into our marriage. We've been together 7 years, but we have been learning a lot. So Let's get into it.
So something that I learned while being married is probably just walking in the spirit, the spirit of peace, because growing up, I always loved to debate, quarrel, and argue, and try to win the debate, but that really has no place in marriage, right? Like, some things, we need to discuss and I need to hold my ground. But when it comes down to it, like when we're discussing, some parenting ideas or some politics, right? It's really not that pivotal that we see eye to eye.
We don't even have kids yet.
Right. It's really not that pivotal that we see eye to eye 100% on these things, I think what matters more at the end of the day is that I can still say, hey, baby, I love you. Let's sleep good tonight, rather than letting a disagreement get so tense where I don't even want to eat dinner with you. And so that keeping the peace in the marriage is, something I'm still learning how to do, especially when different, conversations and topics come up, but it's something that's definitely important.
For me, it's been learning how to ask for help, because I was raised, to be a strong, independent Black woman. I've been working since I was 14 years old. When I went off to college, I started relying on my family for less and less. And so, I was paying my own bills, my own rent. And, I was really cultivated and pushed in a way to know how to take care of myself. And I think
she was great at it, she's still great at it.
And those are great skills to have. However, it's like, what's the point of being married then? At that point, if you don't know how to utilize your partner. And so I think that you should profit from your marriage. And so it took years for me to learn how to ask Gabe for help or how to utilize him. I would be, carrying stuff on my own, like
taking out the trash,
and it's just like not asking him for anything. And he'd be like, what do you need me for? And it's just like, marriage is more than just like, good sex and you have a companion, but you have to learn how to best utilize your partner, figure out what their strengths are, how that can help alleviate your life. And so I think now I probably milk it a little bit too much, but Gabe is amazing. But it's like, hey, I'm going to do dinner tonight. Can you clean the dishes? Or can you do the laundry and I'm going to clean the bathroom? Can you look at this because I have a busy day at work today? And honestly, since I've learned how to do that, it's made my life so much easier. And going back to the that mental health care, I feel a lot more at ease with life because I don't have to do it all alone.
And that's just one of the beautiful things about marriage, right? We don't have to go through this alone. And something else on that same note is that being one flesh, right? Losing, kind of like when we get married, I felt like I did lose a sense of my individuality, right? And like I got this new identity, right? Hey, I am a husband. Oh, wait, who are you the husband of? I am the husband of Daily. You know what I'm saying? So our identities kind of combine.
Do people really ask you that?
It's something that's just like, you can't just say I'm a husband, right? Well, prove it then, like... But something I'm learning that, right, the more that I lose myself, right, the duality that we have in turn, in that singular identity is far better. Let me give you a perfect example. Right, we both have always had entrepreneur ambitions, right? Things we our own, things we wanted to accomplish ourselves. But when we put those ideas together, and sometimes they clash, but we gotta, iron out the details and be patient and pray it out. But when we put these ideas together, it's just like, wow, this is better than anything I could have imagined on my own.
Amen, absolutely. And on my end, it's just like learning that marriage isn't this whole fairy tale, people put so much into this wedding, this big occasion, this big party, and then it's just like, then what? Like, we take care of our pets, we take them to the vet, we handle the responsibilities of our dog, I'm at our job, and it's just like, marriage is that, it's like a plant. You have to nourish it, you have to give it love,
pull those weeds out.
And sometimes you change. Like, Gabriel's not the same person, thank God, that he was when we first met. And I'm not the same person that I was when we first met. And so people will grow, people will change. You could go through periods where you can't stand that person. Like, there have been times where it's just like, I don't like this guy. We're not getting along lately. But I wake up every day and I make the choice to choose him every day. And that wasn't my vow. And so sometimes that looks like, let's pray together. Sometimes that looks like, okay, let's go back to the basics. Like, we need to go on a date. Let's play some board games. Let's just talk tonight. Let's put the technology away and be present. Because it's like getting to know it's not the same person, but getting to know your love over and over and over and over again. And so, like, this whole idea of happiness, at times it can be shallow. Well, for one, you cannot put your happiness in other people. So that's first and foremost, if you're looking into getting married or if you are getting married. But two, it's temporary. There are highs and lows. And so obviously there are some non-negotiables, but if you're ready to peace out every time something goes your way, then maybe you should reconsider getting married.
Right, exactly. For sure. And the final thing I'll say, especially to the men, especially the young men, I see your ambition. Right? And a lot of times we men think, oh, I got to get the house, I got to get this new job, I got to get this education, then I'll get married, but that's completely backwards. We really benefit from the help of our spouse, man. And a lot of times the men know that she's the one even before she does, And so as soon as you recognize that, read your book, get your mentor, but don't let her slip away, man.
And I guess I would just say, to my ladies, I know that especially to my ladies maybe with similar background upbringings as myself, it can be scary. And again, as Gabe mentioned, you losing your individuality, or I get sometimes that checklist, because our society celebrates women more for being married than we do for pursuing an education. And so, like, I get that, but sometimes we get so caught up into what the world says we need, and we lose sight on like what spirit says we need. Right. And so if you find that person that is willing to do life with you, it's just like, why not? And so I'm so grateful to have this companion, my travel buddy, my entrepreneurship buddy, my helpmate. And so I know that sometimes people say really scary things about marriage, and yes, it is hard.
It is scary,
and you do have to be patient.
It is not perfect.
And you do have to work at it, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I love him, and he's my best friend. So thank y'all so much for tuning in with us today, and we hope that you continue to follow our channel. And if there's anything,
subscribe.
Yes. And if there's anything in particular you want to hear us talk about, let us know.
That's it.
Peace and love.
Peace.